Hello. Greetings at this new moon in Scorpio and Diwali, which is the festival of lights in the Hindu tradition. This is the ultimate occasion to become the light in the darkness. And there's big medicine today, which is why I'm doing an audio meditation and session for you this morning. We're going to be gathering live tonight at 6 p.m., and I hope you can join me. We're going to be live in person at Sage Goddess in Los Angeles, and then we're going to be live online as well. So if you have time this evening, we'd love to have you join us in ceremony. What I want to do here is prepare you, sort of soften you, open the space a little bit, because there's two ways to look at darkness, right? You can look at darkness as the void that can consume you. And a lot of adults, are still afraid of the dark. It's true. It's like there's some disruption at the root chakra that still tells us that something is not safe. And so that's one piece of the work that we have to make sense of. But then there's a different way to look at darkness, which is as a space of possibility that you can illuminate with your own source of light. And I would argue to you today, I'm going to be teaching a lot more about this next year, but I would argue to you today that the way that you perceive the light has everything to do with your level of consciousness. If you are working primarily in ordinary reality, what we call 3D consciousness, right? Like human consciousness, going through the motions, doing what you got to do, feeling all the feels, maybe understanding energy, maybe not understanding energy, which means you maybe can or can't take responsibility for your energy and therefore learn how to manage it better and assist its flow and monitor its flow, regulate its flow, calibrate your energy, right? Not doing any of that, you're in ordinary reality. And that can at times seem like a hopeless place, because hope is found in non-ordinary reality for most of us, in the spirit world, in the higher levels of consciousness that tell you that the darkness is a place to explore and it's a blank canvas, and you can see that canvas as a hologram upon which you can project a new vision, a new reality. That's what we do at the higher levels of conscious awareness on occasions like the new moon, especially when it's powered by this other force of Diwali, which is about, lighting as many candles as you can tonight to usher in the light, to honor the fact that you can fill darkness with light. You don't have to see the darkness as a scary place where you have no power and you don't know what's going to happen or what's going to jump out at you from any corner. You can instead start to see the darkness as an ally, that it's actually when that moon is new, right? When that sky is dark, like it is tonight. Especially when it's dark in Scorpio, which, Scorpios are very comfortable with the darkness. They have to be. If you're Scorpio, sun, moon, or rising, you have had to spend most of your life figuring out how you're going to navigate this, because you were born in the river, right? Like you were born navigating that territory, right? That sort of lower world energy. So Scorpios are very comfortable here. This isn't scary for Scorpios. But if you're not a Scorpio, tonight's new moon could feel a little heavy. It could feel a little foreboding, especially because there's so much ambient sort of anxiety in the field, which again, if you're working at a lower level of consciousness, you're picking up on other people's energy, but you don't quite know what it is or what to do with it or what to do about it, right? If you're working at the higher levels of consciousness, which is what I try to teach, then it's almost like observing a game from the stands, right? Rather than watching it from the floor. If you're observing from the floor, you can't really see what's happening. You're too in the mix. If you go up in the stands or in the bleachers, right, you can look down and you can see more of the choreography of life. You see things in context, which helps you not take things personally, which helps you understand the broader dynamics at play, helps you not overreact in situations, right? We tend to overreact when we don't have all the information. When we take a moment and pause in a situation and we go and we gather the rest of the information, then we tend not to overreact, because we sort of see things for what they are. And so today I want to encourage you to to move into a higher level of conscious awareness. And it's as simple really as taking just a few steps back, first of all, to observe the situations that you're in. And then it involves looking at the situations that you're in through a different lens or a different perspective. And so tonight at the new moon is when we set our intentions for the next lunar cycle, for the next, 28 days. And it's like a fun new container, right? What are you going to do with this one? This is a whole new moon. What are you going to do? What's on your mind? What are you trying to create? What seeds are you planting, right? And because this new moon is in Scorpio, which is all about transformation, this is a really good new moon for you to think about reorienting yourself in your world. Are you going to be a participant or a spectator? Remember, participants are in the mix and sometimes operating without all the information and kind of working at eye level, right? Or are you going to be a spectator? You're going to have a little bit of a higher view, right? Pause for a moment, try to make sure you understand not just what's happening right in front of you, but all around you, right? More of a circumspect view. The people in your life who, you see as wise or as patient or, mature. And a lot of times age just gives us the benefit of this, because as we get older, we learn from our mistakes most of the time not to overreact or, act based on assumptions, or to realize that the universe is complex and that there's more at play than what you can see. So how will you choose to view this darkness? Will you choose to view it as a space of creative potential, or will you choose to view it as a space of looming danger, right? And it depends on, I guess, how tired you are of repeating the same patterns. If you're really ready to experience your life in a new way, and that's probably why you're sitting here even listening to me tell you this, right? Like certain things have led you here, then it's time and it's good, right? I mean, it's every change has the potential to bring some sadness, because when you change a situation, you disrupt the energies a little bit. You have to, right? And so it can bring a certain measure of sadness, but it's always in service of growth, right? It's like sometimes things have to get a little murkier before they can get clear. And so tonight, what I want you to really think about as we go into ritual and ceremony together, and even as you're moving through your day today, is where and how can you bring more light into your life? And if you say, well, I don't have what I need to do that, okay, what would you need to do that? New moons are like placing an order from a cosmic menu. And sometimes it's really hard because you can get stuck in your ways and go, well, it hasn't worked for me before, or, I never get what I want, or it isn't about me, those are all excuses for you not to move into a higher state of conscious awareness. And then you're stuck, and then you say, oh, I'm stuck. And it's like, no, but you do have a choice. You know what I mean? You can say, you know what, I'm ready to open to a different experience and a different perspective. And I'm ready to engage some of that watery, mysterious Scorpio energy, right? I'm ready to act as if, I'm ready to sort of like step into that Scorpio mentality and see what it's like. Try it on, right? What is it like not to be afraid of the darkness? Because you trust your own source of illumination. In the work that I do, I have had to become very aware of my own light and shadow, because I am a spiritual teacher. And so I have to be very conscious of the light and the shadow that I can bring. And so I'm aware of the light that I bring to a space and also the shadow that I can cast. And I have to manage those things. And I would even argue that no matter who you are or what you do, you should be doing the same thing. You should be looking at, what is the light that I bring? What are the energy streams that are unique to me that I bring into spaces? What do you try to bring to people? What do you try to bring to the planet? What's your gift? Because that's your light, right? Like one of my explicit intentions, light intentions, is to bring beauty to the planet. And I do that intentionally in a lot of different ways. But I am here to create beauty because I think beauty is magic and I think beauty is healing. And I define beauty in many different ways. What is one of yours? And maybe one of your intentions for today is to try to shine that light a little more brightly, because I'll tell you, the planet needs every bit of light that we can summon right now. And then the other piece of it is too, and this is like, down the road a little bit from what I'm talking about right now, but ultimately what you can learn how to do is even transmute darkness into usable light. So that situations and people and energies that used to drain you can actually become a source of inspiration and nourishment for you. And you're probably sitting there going, holy shit, really? It's like, yeah, really. You know what I mean? Like, how do you explain it? Some people can work incredibly taxing jobs where they are constantly just bombarded with challenges and problems and fix this and do that. And I mean, I think of sometimes of people in healthcare and I mean, just all different fields where it's just nonstop. How do they manage that? They're running the energy differently. They're able to use what you might see as challenges to actually feed themselves because they can transform and transmute that energy. How conscious they are of that, I don't know. But some of them are conscious of it. And and in my work, some of the times there's, there'll be conflicts in the social world or whatever. And I have learned how to use that energy, transmute that energy, to be able to use that to create deeper clarity and deeper resonance. Remember that everything in the universe exists on a spectrum, right? You can't have light without darkness. You can't have, we'll use those words, good without evil, right? You can't have day without night. So both are always there. And so if light energy can be used to fuel you, then dark energy can be too, but it has to be transformed into that usable light and worked through your intention. And so the bigger part of this is what I teach to my students in my classes. And we're going to be really double clicking on this next year because we're going to be consciously moving into higher states of conscious awareness. We're going to be working with specific modalities and frameworks and techniques and tools to reach that higher level of conscious awareness, because that's where peace is. That's where prosperity is. That's where alignment is. That's where love is. That's where connection is. So we have to get there, but it's realizing that even just a new moon, right? Even just this day can be such a momentous opportunity for you to claim something new in your life. And because, in 3D, we're so used to like 10 steps to this and 14 steps to that and having to really work for it. Because if you don't work for it, you didn't earn it. And if you didn't earn it, then it isn't yours. And it's like we have all these really crazy sort of post-industrialist visions of what we have to do to change. You know what I mean? And it's almost like we're set up to fail before we even start. But then we don't believe that change can be as simple as making an informed decision or setting an intention and trusting that your whole life can change just from that. We're like, oh, that's too easy. If it was that easy, everybody would do it. Except it's easy and it's not easy, because once you've set an intention, you have to then begin to embody what that intention represents. And that's hard to do. It's easy to say, oh, I'm going to set an intention today. I'm going to transform my marriage. And so I'm going to show up differently in that relationship. I'm going to move in that relationship from a place of higher conscious awareness. And so I'm going to be this is what that looks like. I'm going to be more present to the relationship. I'm going to not react as quickly, try to take into consideration, the bigger picture of the relationship and understand more about what's happening from my partner's perspective. And so this is beautiful, right? Great, love it. And then the first time anything happens with the partner later tonight or tomorrow or whatever, you react just like you always did. And then nothing changes and you go, well, the intention didn't work. Or I lit my candle, but didn't happen. It's like, no, it is work. But when you stick your finger in the water and you say, today's the day, I'm going to start to reorient. I'm going to show up differently. And then you feel empowered to adopt a different perspective. And then maybe what you do is, and this is where tools come in, right? Like, so maybe you say, so I'm going to work with an amulet. And every time I, look down at that necklace and see it, or I hold that stone, that's going to be a reminder to me. So we dedicate a crystal to that work, for example, which is why I work with crystals. And then maybe you, as you sit before your candle flame tonight, setting this intention and working these energies, and you gaze at that flame and you invoke the element of fire, you can call on some of the compassionate helping spirits of the South. And I'm talking about energy like snake. Snake is a really powerful ally who can help us shed old skin that doesn't fit anymore. And if you're wanting to change a relationship, it's because your skin's too tight, right? So you got to shed that skin and move into a new skin. And so now you've got another energy supporting you, right? Moving energies in your life, because once you call upon a compassionate helping spirit like snake, and you say, snake, please help me move through my relationship with greater ease and help me understand how to transform patterns so that I can shed that old skin and move into a new skin that fits me, that's more comfortable, more aligned with who I want to be in the world. And then when you wear your amulet and it's a reminder to you, maybe you start to anoint with some essential oils that open you a little bit to be more receptive, and that maybe have a slight sort of aphrodisiac effect. So you're softening, maybe you're opening your heart a little bit more to your partner. So maybe you're anointing with rose for compassion or Damiana for passion. Those are all living energy fields, right? Your crystals that you work with, the candle that you work with, the compassionate helping spirits that you invoke and that you work with, the essential oils that you anoint with, the herbs that you might burn. We call these layers of correspondence. And so they're not doing the work for you, but they are helping you. They are allies. They are reminders to you. And they are also working on your energy field to raise your vibration, to keep it strong during moments of challenge or doubt, to remind you of what's possible. And everything I'm telling you about, this is my life's work and my passion, because I believe I have seen so many in my time, as Sage Goddess and owning Sage Goddess, I have seen thousands of people. We have almost 1 million people in social media, but I have personally witnessed thousands of you transform. What does that look like? It looks like health improving, relationships saved, or new relationships found. It looks like overcoming incredibly difficult cases of depression and anxiety to get to a deeper place of peace. And so I know that what I'm talking about works. And I can point to many examples and cases. And if you've been with me for a while, you see my own transformation, right? Like it's kind of fun because you get to see it happen to me in real time. But I am doing all this work that I'm telling you about. And so I want to encourage you to join me tonight. I want to encourage you to comment on this post with this audio and tell me what your light is, and make a commitment to me today at this new moon about how you're going to shine that light even brighter. I want you to go out into the world today like a lit up Christmas tree. I want you to just glow, because why not? And if you're not going to start doing it today, when are you going to start doing it? You'll find that I'm a bit of an ass kicker that way. If you don't do something different, you don't get the right to hope for a different outcome. Different outcomes come from different actions. And I think it's time. I don't think it's any accident that you're sitting here listening to this today. I wish you blessings at the Scorpio new moon, blessings at Diwali, the Festival of Lights. Light always triumphs, and love always wins. I'll see you tonight for ritual. Amen, aho, and so it is.